I actually went into foster care 2 times. The first time I was 9 years old. At that time I was living in a tent trailer with my mom and dad. My parents were super kind of neglectful, and my dad had really bad alcohol issues, and at the time I didn't know, but my mom was addicted to opioids. I'd missed over a year of school between my 1st grade and 4th grade. I didn't know how to shower, I didn't know how to brush my teeth, and so when foster care came and took me, I went and lived with my aunt and uncle, and I was there for about a year and a half, and then I went back to my mom and dad's. We got to the point where my dad started drinking again, and so he would come home like 5 to 6 nights a week and just yell at my mom. I was around like 11 or 12 when I started getting involved in their fights. My dad would hit my mom, and I thought, like, let me protect my mom. And so I would get into the middle of it, and I would end up getting hit or being like verbally abused. And so it kind of created this household issue of my mom was on opioids again, and so she would just sleep, she would disappear. I was made to raise my little brother. We used to write letters to our future selves, and when I was in 6th grade, I wrote, Dad hasn't came home drunk in 3 days, and I'm really happy about it. We made friendship bracelets, and it filled my heart because we were actually a family, but I know in a few days he'll come back and I'll get hit again.
Rylynn's always been a very family-oriented person. She loves her family deeply, more than any other teenager I've ever met, even my own kids. She's connected to her family, and she loves them to pieces, and she wants them all to be together. And nothing was going to happen with that until her parents took some accountability for that, because it ripped their family apart.
I think when I realized it wasn't normal was probably around middle school. I realized that what I was going through is very different from other kids. There was a weekend where my mom and my dad had gotten into such a bad fight that my brother ended up getting pushed against a wall super hard, and he was 3 at the time. After that, my mom tried to fight me, and my brother got in front of me and said, like, do not touch my sister. My mom ended up pinning me to the stairs, and she bashed my head against the stairs, and my dad was outside, and he heard me calling for his help, and he didn't come help me. And that's when I decided I was gonna run away, because my dad wasn't gonna help us and my mom wasn't gonna stop. I remember that was a really big moment of just, I knew that I could wait out the abuse until I was 18, but I wasn't gonna let that happen to my brother.
Rylynn was unique in that she wrote a letter to CASA. Well, we don't get those letters very often for a child that actually says that I need a CASA. And these are the reasons why most kids really do want to go back to their parents at some point, whether they've hurt them or not. And Rylynn had been through it twice already, and she didn't want her brother to go through that.
When we went into foster care, I was really, really fighting, and I didn't feel like anyone was truly understanding. And then here's this like CASA worker, and this like cute little old lady pops up in my front door, and she gives me this big old hug. And I just remember how much I loved her personality.
After I met with her the first time, I went home and I told my husband I wasn't sure I was going to be able to be what she needed me to be. She needed somebody to be strong, really strong. So you want to make sure that that's what you're going to be able to be for them.
From that point, she would just like go lengths to like meet up with me.
I'd text her and say, are you available for lunch today? And I'd pick up something and we'd sit in my Jeep and we would eat lunch and we would talk.
I felt like up until Susan, I was having to be my own advocate, and that was super hard for a 15-year-old. With her, I was not only able to have my voice, but I also had someone finally next to me that was able to be my voice when I couldn't do it.
For me personally, being a CASA means giving them that unconditional love and support, no matter what they do. We're here to take care of them and to make sure that things don't get missed and that they get that future that they deserve. That's probably my biggest thing, is to hope that those kids get a future.
My relationship with my parents I have a really good relationship with them. My parents got sober, they got their stuff together. Every Wednesday, I go over and they make dinner for us. And my mom's a mom now. My dad ended up apologizing for everything.
I always felt like I wanted to advocate for their family, that they could at least have a communication and have a relationship. That was really important to Rylynn, so it was very important to me that she had that again.
I think CASA is a all stage of life kind of support that you need, especially for a kid. It is so instrumental to have an adult like that to just help you and support you. I got her when I was 15 and I went through court trials with her. I went through moving out. She was at my graduation and now I'm going into university.
When you go into being a CASA, you anticipate, especially dealing with teenagers, that you're going to get kids that have really gone through so much. They've let that define them. And I just lucked out that my kiddo did not let that define her. She's beating the odds, and she did it all on her own. I wasn't at school holding her hand and telling her she had to do that class and she had to do it right. She did it all on her own.
She really invested in who I was and who I wanted to be, and not just my case and what I've gone through. I always like to call her my old lady best friend because she is my best friend. She's one of the first people I tell about secrets or accomplishments. And even through when I'm out of the system, like Susan's gonna be next to me, and I don't know what I would do without Susan.
They need to know that somebody cares and somebody wants them. We have to make sure that they know they're worthy of our time and our effort because we know how important they are to us.